2024 was an interesting year all across the globe. In Nigeria, my homeland, the catchphrase "no grief for anybody" was the catchphrase of the year. Everybody went out with that motivation and inspiration that they're going to do their best. At least that's what I thought it meant. And of course, here in the United States, we were dealing with the political campaign. Everyone was trying to vie for your votes. And now we have all that behind us. We have a brand new president elected into office. Looking forward to his inauguration in a couple of weeks. Nigeria dealing with no grief for anybody, to giving their president a nickname, T-Pain. And of course, understanding the reality of the common everyday people. Economic downturn, recession, inflation, the cost of the dollar versus the naira. So many things that we can talk about 2024. However, we can also look at a lot of positive things that happened in 2024. 2024 saw so many people find the love of their lives, so many celebrity marriages on social media this year, and several different outtakes for me are just the highlights of seeing the fact that the possibility exists for love to really win. I mean, we can't really judge yet the longevity of those marriages. We're just going to have to allow time and opportunity to do its work, and then we'll be able to see how well those marriages go. But definitely at Dr. OJ Speaks, we are really rooting for all the couples who made it to the altar this year, praying that God Almighty sustains and preserves each of their marriages. Now, while this is not a relationship podcast, it's obviously befitting for us to look at a holistic worldview of everything that happened in 2024. There were some countries that experienced a lot of loss in the form of wars and rumors of wars and so many things that happened. I mean, Lebanon was one of those nations. The war in Ukraine and Russia kind of just was spilled over from 2023 for the better part of 2024, and several things that we can also look at around the globe, looking at a holistic view of 2024. But my question to you is this: how was your 2024? Were you able to see the outcomes that you truly wanted to see in 2024? Did 2024 deliver to you everything that you hoped that it was going to deliver to you? Regardless of what that answer is, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's really about looking at how far you've come and then taking that journey so far to looking forward to the future, and making deliberate steps or taking deliberate steps to seeing how you can gain more clarity. Because for good or for bad, every lesson that we learn actually shapes us in one way or another. But we get to determine the outcome of how that experience is shaping us. A lot of people experience heartbreak, and from that heartbreak comes a huge campaign to help other people avoid the same pitfalls in relationships. That to me would be a positive outcome. That to me would be making lemonade out of lemons that life throws at you. In the same space, some people experience the same life experience and it completely turns them the other way. It puts them down. They begin to doubt themselves. They begin to look down on themselves, and they completely see the negative and the bad sides of just being in a relationship. And it completely just puts them in a negative space. So, that being said, you have to understand that whatever the outcomes of 2024 is, you get to determine what the outcome of 2025 is going to be. You know, yesterday, amazing or as horrible as it might have been, is gone, no longer exists. And we're here in today, moving forward, looking forward to tomorrow. But what I want to bring us to in this podcast is being clear and aware at every moment. Self-awareness is very key, and it's going to be very critical for each of us to pay close attention and build our mental capacity to becoming extremely self-aware at most times, if not all the time. Self-awareness is an emotional intelligence trait that allows a person to not only have a strong identity, knowing who they are, but to always be aware of how they're feeling and how those emotions direct and guide their actions at every moment in time. I tell you, a person with a heightened state of self-awareness makes better decisions overall. A person with a heightened state of self-awareness relates to people better overall. So, it's a win-win. In 2025, I am asking my community to focus on building clarity. What you need to be clear on is very, very easy. The things that you want to be and who you want to be known as, or what you want to be known for. And the things that you are going to do to accomplish those first two things, that what you want to be and what you want to be known for, or who you want to be known for. So, making very simple, smart goals. 2025 for me is a year of elevated vision explosion. And that does not mean I'm going to be doing so much more. It just means I am going to take the things that I already have in my hands, all of the businesses and the brands, to elevate them and 10x the results that they're given. It's a year to focus in, because now I have absolute clarity, not just on what my gifts are, but I have absolute clarity on what I am supposed to be doing with my gifts. In the event space, I turned down a few opportunities in 2024 because one of the things I was setting myself up in 2024 was creating a platform, a global platform of who I wanted to be known as, what I wanted to be known for. So when people think of certain things, my name, my brand, my reputation comes at the forefront of their medulla oblongata. I know, I said that. But it comes to the frontal cortex for them to remember that this brand actually offers these services, or this is who they're known for. Dr. OJ, the MC, is gaining more recognition, and I am super grateful for that. That is my media personality. That is my media space. Dr. OJ, the coach, however, is still has a lot of work to do. She still has a lot of work to do to gain notoriety, to gain a lot of credibility in that space. So this year, 2025, I am going to be focusing more on Dr. OJ, the coach, because I want to be known globally. I want the doors of opportunities to open for me in that space more than ever before. While I continue to nurture Dr. OJ, the MC, take on those jobs, share the experiences, get testimonials, and do what I need to do, create an experience for my clients, and allow them to give me feedback that allows other people to trust me in that space, I will be putting a lot of energy towards Dr. OJ, the coach. And that is what we're doing in this year. But it's important for you to know that whatever 2024 has given you is not an indication of what 2025 has to offer. 2025 has amazing potential. But the potential is going to be dependent on you. What you see, first of all, and how you move, second of all, and the things that you are focused on, number 3. What you see, how you move, and the things that you're focused on. So it's important, as I end this podcast today, for you to look back at 2024 and see all the lessons and experiences you've had, for good or for bad. Embrace them all. Don't rest too long in the good, because then you lose momentum and you lose inspiration on moving forward. But don't dwell too long on the negative as well, because it will drag you down. It's important for you to strike a balance. Think about it. You're trying to walk across a tightrope, and the space in between is a hollow ground. So if you miss a step, you're going to drop to the very bottom. And if you gain your balance, you get to slide through that tightrope to get to your fortune on the other side of the rope, on the other end. So that is really what we're trying to do. We're trying to glide on and get out of whatever it is that 2024 has given, has offered, has allowed us, and given us the benefit or the downturn. In many cases, I say lessons to be learned and grow from. And we're going to take all of those things, because they're all goodies. They are all put in our lives to ensure that it determines the outcomes of who we are. But it always depends on how you look at it. What do you see? What are you seeing in your 2024? What are you looking when you look back in your mind's eye as you're reflecting and making notes of every month of that year and the things that happened and the things that didn't happen? How are you seeing the outcomes? Next thing is, what do you want to do going forward? Who do you want to become? Who do you want to be known for? What's going to be your identity? What do you want to achieve? The last but not the least. This is where some of us, a lot of us, even I, have dropped the ball in the past. What are you going to do about it? What is your primary game plan for 2025? Honestly, game plans are good. Vision boards are good. There's a lot of those events and vision board parties and planning and all these things going on around. Keep doing all of those things. But don't forget the secret ingredient, the main thing that is going to ensure that your 2025 turns out even better than 2024. That is your relationship with a gift giver. It's more important ever than before for each of us to not only discover who we are, set our identity in a stone and let people know, everyone around us know who we, what value we have to offer. It's also important for us to form an alignment that allows those things to be the best version of what they need to be. It's impossible for you to buy a vehicle from a car dealership and not read the manual in how to operate it, especially all of the electric vehicles that are popping on the market today. But whatever you do with your gifts, it's important for you to be able to check with the gift giver so that he can give you the directives. It can give you the instructions on how he intended for you to do it. While you might think your life is your own, you're not going to grieve for anybody. I don't know if that's going to be the slogan for 2025, but I want to tell you this. Whether you grieve for anybody or not, your outcome is predicated on your relationship with the person who has gifted you the life that you have. So in all of these things, I want to sum up this podcast, which is the final podcast for 2024. I'm so grateful. I want to say this, as we close out this year and go into 2025, everything that life has given us so far, for me, is a full package of what we need to become who we are supposed to be in the future. So when the clock strikes 12 on December 31st, 2024, it's a mouthful, guys. When the clock strikes 12, be mindful of this one thing. Stepping into this new calendar year, stepping into this clock that God is going to give us to be able to start running with, you have to be intentional and you have to know who you are, but also you have to be confident in who you're running with. Who's going to be your running mate in 2025? For all the plans that you're going to set up for yourself, you need a running mate. For everything that you're going to do, you need a running mate. You definitely need a running mate. So guys, let's not sleep on this. Let's not look at 2024 and imagine that this is the best our lives could ever be. Let's remember that 2024 has done what it needs to do. Let's put it to rest. But let's not forget everything it has offered us as a gift, both good and bad. And let's focus on 2025. Have a great running mate. For me, 2025 is my year of God's will. It's not a year of complacency. It's not a year of being laid back and chill and hoping that God will pick up the slack and do the work for me. No, it's the year for elevated vision explosion. In all of the brands and all of the areas that God has allowed me to plant my tree. I have set up my flag in different industries. I'm going to be elevating and exploding the vision for God in those areas and doing the needful to fulfill God's will for my life. That is the primary goal for 2025, for me to accomplish what it is God wants for me in 2025. I think that's a great plan if you ask me. All right, y'all, that's all, folks. Don't forget, 2025, subscribe to this channel, follow this podcast, share the content if you absolutely love it. Give us feedback and see how we're doing. Let us know how we're doing and how we can better serve you. But most importantly, let's get social, because we're going to be all up in your face on all social media platforms, looking bigger, better, and of course, exploding with the vision that God has given us. For you guys, our community, we don't take you for granted. Thank you, 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 thank you for everything you've done. So far, so good. We're grateful. But upwards and onwards we go in 2025. As always, you know, I love you guys. Bye.